of them. There you go.
And she has her own tarot deck, and it's a very interesting story how she kind of came from this 3D. She used to be a competitive bodybuilder, and how she came through these evolutions to kind of meld and marry. She does astrology, amazing numerology. Joanne is an amazing reader. I've been fortunate enough to have her do a reading for me, and I got to challenge her because, you know, she did a 12-card reading, and she goes, this has never happened to me before. She got 9 cards in reverse for me.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. So she went, well, this is interesting. So, you know, on she goes.
Magical kitty.
Yeah. So, all right, Joanne, would you tell us a little bit about yourself? We like to collect stories and how you got where you are, and, you know,
Sure. Well, considering the show's only an hour, I'm going to give a modified version of my story. So how I got where I am, we can thank my mom for this, and also an ex of mine. It started with the ex, 12-year relationship. It ended, from my point of view, suddenly. We were engaged for 5 years after that 12. And after his mom passed, somewhere along the line, he had a midlife crisis, and there went our relationship. That was back in 2007. 2011, my mom crossed over. And when she crossed over, at that point in time, prior to the time when my ex and I parted and my mom crossing, I started connecting with psychics and learning about crystals and Reiki, and just really connecting to who I was. Now, originally I'd gone to therapy to get some psychological help to see how I could help my ex, so him and I can get back together, thinking that's what we were supposed to be doing. And the therapist was like, well, you know, I need to get to know you. So skip ahead a year, did a lot of self-help. And after mom crossed, from doing all the self-help, the crystal work, the Reiki work, I'd say about a little less than a week after mom passed, here I was sitting at my kitchen table doing homework, and I was struggling on this one question. It's getting to about 2 a.m. and my eyes are getting really tired, and all of a sudden I'm home alone, but I feel energy of someone else being with me. And I'm like, why do I feel like someone's here? And I happened to glance up, and my mother was sitting across the table from me. And my eyes got really big, and I was like, oh my God. And all I heard her say to me is, go wash your face, come back, and you'll find your answer. And I shook my head no. I was like, because if I leave from this table, you're not going to be back here when I get back. But she kept insisting, so I did. Came back, obviously she was not there, and was able to figure out my answer. And then from that point on, it was like this box of gifts opened up from being able to see her, hear her. I would feel her in my presence all the time. I mean, I actually would see her more since she's crossed over than when she was alive. And I spoke to her more, of course, when she was passed and alive. So because of that, she became what I like to call my spiritual guide. And she had guided me into all these different creative projects. Every book I've written, she actually intuitively given me information for the books. And I have a TV show, and on my show, I was working with this one deck of cards. It's a numerology cards. And I'm about ready to do a reading with the card on my show, and I hear her voice say to me, you need your own deck. And the first thing out of my head was, Ma, this is my very first TV show that I'm hosting. Can't have a conversation with you right now. Can we talk about this later? And this is what I'm saying in my head, obviously not out loud. And the following week, she shows up again, same thing, just as I'm about to give the reading. And I finally, when I get home later that day, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, so what is this nonsense about a deck? What do you want me to do with a deck? And I hear her say, create a deck. And now I'm not creative in that way. So I'm like, create a deck. I'm like, okay. So I go to Staples and I get myself those beautiful pastel index cards. I come home and I start writing out the different chakra colors names, like, you know, the yellow, the green, the blue. and I'm writing the numbers on an affirmation. And as I'm midway through, all of a sudden I hear no. The cards I had in my hand flew out of my hand. And I'm like, what do you mean no? I was like, I thought you told me to create a deck of cards. And she goes, not that way. What other way do you want me to create them? So long story short, these are what she wanted me to create. So I created my deck of cards, which has chakra. Every card has a color. Every card has a number and an affirmation. There's 45 cards to my deck. And this is what she helped me create. And since then, I use it on my show every week. I used them to do all sorts of things. And in one of my personal training consultations, as I was sitting to consult with a new client, I hear her say to me, do not give them the questionnaire form, use your cards. Now, of course, she doesn't speak that way. I have to sort of understand. We all know how spirits speak to us. And I'm like, use my cards. I'm like, really? So I pull out my cards and I said to the woman, I says, I'm going to give you a consultation through my cards. I had no friggin' idea what the hell I was doing. I was literally being guided by my mom in that very moment, shuffling the deck, and I hear her just saying to me, pull out 9 cards. So I pull out 9 cards, I lay them out, I get all of this information about this woman, and from that point on, since working with new clients, that's how I find out all about my clients. No longer through a questionnaire form. I don't have them fill out anything. In fact, when they come into my space, I even say to them, tell me nothing. And they look at me like, what? Like, I don't want to know nothing about you. They're like, this is weird. I was like, because my cards are going to tell me everything I need to know about you plus some. And that's how I'm going to design your program for you. Now, let's back up just a moment.
Because we've got people joining us. So let them know what you do pre-2000.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, good.
That's where I was going. So before I really started working the cards with the clients, I'm a personal trainer, or at least that's what I'm known as, a personal trainer. And we all know what personal trainers do. We help clients get healthy, get in shape, look good in their jeans, look good in the bathing suit, et cetera, et cetera. And I've done that for 20 years. That was my mission. That was my purpose, to help women, some men, get in shape, get healthy, and look really good. Over the last 10 years, my format has changed from being a personal trainer to being a holistic personal trainer. And what I mean by a holistic personal trainer, using the letter W, when I use the word holistic, not with just an H, the holistic is all about the total person. I now create a program that focuses on the mind, the body, the spirit, and their emotions. And every program that I work with, every client that I work with, rather, I have that in mind when working with them. So it's not just about coming in and just focus on wanting to lose 10 pounds or wanting to look healthy. I mean, yes, those are all benefits, but my biggest thing is I want that client to know about who they are on a deeper level. So I ask the clients their astrology information. We go through numerology so I can understand them based on their personal energy year number for that particular year and what they can and cannot do. And here is a fun one. When we think about astrology and we think about numerology, there is a possibility that a person can actually not be able to lose weight that particular year. And they might be struggling trying to figure out why. And interesting enough to say, this year particularly, because of all the retrogrades we've had, there might have been many people struggling with releasing weight because of Jupiter being in retrograde. And because of this, I know this information. So if somebody were to come in wanting to drop or release 20, 30 pounds, and based on where their placements are in their astrology, I would have to say to them, that's not happening this year. And they would look at me like, what do you mean? You can't give me a diet? You can't give me something to follow? And my approach is, I don't give diets. And then I explain to them based on their astrology, based on their personal energy year number for that particular year, these are the reasons why this is not physically possible. But what I will do with you is I will help you maintain the weight that you have, so you don't end up putting on more weight. And then by next year, or once all of this shifts, then we can start focusing on releasing the weight that you're looking to release. So when I work with my clients, we go through the whole process. Every session is quite interesting in reference to their astrology. What's going on with the moon? What's going on with the sun? Where is their moon energy? And how is the moon impacting them based on how they feel for that day? And based on their sun energy, and of course, all these retrogrades we have going on, which makes their sessions extremely exciting. And sometimes to a point where they get a little nervous on, well, what's happening next? And as long as they know this information, it helps them to better understand why their body might be feeling the way it's feeling, and why they may not actually be able to release the weight they're looking for, and what they can do about it. Because I don't want to just say to somebody, well, that 20 pounds you're looking to release, not happening this year. Goodbye, I'll see you next year. We need a solution. We need a solution so they can still feel good in their body. And when I work with the clients, that's what it's all about. It's a total body workout, total mind, body, and spirit experience when working with me. So again, it's just not about putting together a program and that's it. It's educating them on, for example, everyone does squats in the workout. I mean, most people I know do squats. And educating them on the fact that when they're working a squat exercise, whether it's sitting in and out of a chair or actually doing body weight squats, they're connecting with their root chakra, primary chakra of all the chakras, to help stay grounded. And giving them that information so they know how to work with it and how to make that connection with their body. So it's not this disconnect from the mind and body, or from the mind and heart. Because many of us are not connected, especially those who do work out, who's not working out, holistically speaking, they're not connecting. They have this process where they work out really, really hard, but then they look in the mirror and they're pointing out all the areas on their body they don't like. How disconnected is that after you've just done, let's say, a 20-30 minute workout, and all you're doing is sabotaging yourself based on what you don't like about yourself? And my process is, we focus on what's strong about us. I mean, we don't deny what we need to work on, but we focus on what's strong on us. And when we look in the mirror, we're looking at it in a positive sense of what we enjoy, what we appreciate, and how we appreciate how our body actually moves. Because there are days when our bodies don't want to. So we need to appreciate that whole process, and as opposed to sabotaging ourselves, where 30, 40 minutes into a workout and you're looking in the mirror saying, ooh, what is that? You know, it's like, no, it's not, ooh, what is that? That is helping you lift whatever it is you need to lift. So appreciate the fact that you have the strength to do that. And that's my process. So in the last 10 years, it has been a whole transformation, speaking of realigning my energy with the right client. Because it's still not an easy process to get people to want to go through this process of getting to know who they are on a deeper level. You know, I mean, I know all of us who are here want to know who we are on a deeper level, but the average person is not so quick to say, well, I want to dig into the emotions that I have dug down so deep in so I can ignore them. But the reality of it all is, if that average person really wants to release, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 50 pounds, that comes from the emotions that have to be dug up. So they can release that and be open to releasing the physical weight that they, and this is going to hurt people's ears, that they called in. The responsibility of them calling in that weight for whatever the reasons was, whether it was a trauma that happened or whatever. But we call in that weight for protection of whatever it is we need protection for. And that's not an easy thing to accept, nor is it an easy thing for me to deliver to somebody when sitting with them for the very first time and them pulling out their 9 cards, and in the 9 cards, all I'm seeing is, oh my God, this woman has been raped, or this woman was assaulted, or this woman was abused, and having to deliver that message in the most kindest way possible, and possibly even not delivering it and letting them just say it to me in the way I have the dialogue with them. So I don't have to actually say it. And it also helps them, once they actually can say it right away, that helps them to release something they haven't said in a really long time. And I've heard people say to me after working out with me one day, and I kid you not when I say this, after one day of a workout, they will literally come back and say, wow, I feel like I lost like 50 pounds. And I'm like, okay, that's great. In my head, I'm like, well, it's not even possible, but they feel like it. And that,
Right.
to me, that's the most important part of it, is because that's that mental. So now you feel like you are 50 pounds lighter, which means you're not carrying 50 pounds of weight with you everywhere you go. And that, to me, that's the first step, is that you're no longer carrying that extra weight everywhere you go. You feel lighter. So because you feel lighter, you're going to do things that's going to help you be lighter and continue the process. So I enjoy the work that I get to do, because it's really watching every person transform every single day. So this is not a process where it takes months and years to see the transformation. I see the transformation every workout that I work with them, because I'm not looking for this massive transformation. I'm looking for small transformation of them looking in the mirror and taking that double take, like, I didn't know I had that back there. That looks pretty good, you know, and complimenting themselves as opposed to saying, oh, what is that? And there's a big difference. And I know for me, when I love my body, I love me, oh my God, I start attracting love all over the place because I love myself. And it might sound extremely conceited, but we're all looking for that love relationship. But until we have that love relationship with ourselves, we're blocking the love relationship from actually coming in. So this whole process of like holistic fitness, holistic training isn't just about being healthy in our body, but it really is about loving oneself. And when you love yourself, everything starts to change. Your relationships, your career, obviously your body, your friends, everywhere you're around, everything changes just from the fact that you've decided to change the whole process of how you see yourself, and you shift your vibration because you're no longer in that negative Nelly, so to speak. And to me, that's a transformation.
Yeah. I love the fact that you incorporate the chakras with the exercises too. I never, really heard of that, but I'm big into that, the chakras too. And so that's just, I love that, what muscles am I using and what are they supporting? And then also, again, it goes back to that energetic weight that you're carrying and that stuff. So then, okay, so if I'm not so strong in this area, what does that say about the chakra in that area as well? And I've never made that connection. So that is fascinating. Well, now that's not one of your books. I mean, can you tell us maybe what some of your books are about? Because I so want to learn more about that.
Sure. Well, to start off with, I'll start off with one of my favorites. Healing with Numbers. One of my favorites. And again, all my books were, I'm going to say, composed from my mom. And it gives an explanation to what numbers are and how numbers can actually help us heal. I'm sure every one of us have seen a specific number in the course of our day. Multiple times we might see the number 222, which means have faith. Have faith in your partnerships, because the number 2 is about relationships. So when those numbers are popping up and you can really understand what those numbers mean, it gives you an explanation to what's going on in your life. So if a number is following you, pay attention to what that number is. And go get my book. This way here you'll know what the number means. Another book, and I only have 2 of my books here with me, because I don't think I would have been able to hold the table with them. This is the book that Kitty was talking to me about during my astrology meeting in regards to something she was sharing, and my eyes were just like, how do you know about my course that I'm creating? anyway, this particular course, the workbook, was a course I was presenting to one of the largest fitness industries in the world, and unfortunately, they declined my proposal. But that's okay. Kitty put a whole different spin onto why they refused it, and I was very excited. So now I'm actually working on an online course where I'm sort of recreating the book where it's going to include videos now. In addition to that, if a person wants to get the book, they can. In the book, just to give you a little idea and to have you dribble just a little bit. In the book, we talk about chakras, medical astrology, numerology, essential oils, functional nutrition. Now, let me just talk functional nutrition for a minute. What the hell is functional nutrition? I'm not big on diets. I don't believe in diets. Someone says to me, can I have a diet plan? No, you can't. I don't give them. Functional nutrition, meaning that you're eating to function. And you're learning how to balance between fueling and feeding, which means if you want to have the ice cream, go ahead and have damn ice cream. Because rather than saying you're going to have the ice cream and then feel guilty after having ice cream, because again, let's come back to our chakras. If we're going to have it and then sabotage ourselves after we do it, it's pointless. So you turn around and you get an understanding of the ice cream. Ice cream has calories, like anything else. It's got fat, it's got carbohydrates, it's got protein, it's got sugar. Utilize all those nutrients and literally say that with the protein, it's going to help me build my muscles. Carbohydrates going to give me the energy I need to do when I work out. The sugar, my body's going to actually get to be feed my inner child. And that's extremely important. Then the fat, we need fat in order to survive. So if you take all of these nutrients and you give them a place of what they're going to be used for, and you understand that, there's no guilt at the end of eating your ice cream. And remember, it's a balance. So I'm not saying to you, go ahead and have ice cream every single day and then eat a bunch of other sweets. Balance it out with the nutrients. And once you do that, that's functional nutrition. And that means you don't have to count calories. You don't have to do all those micro whatevers that, the people have the watches for, and they're looking and they're like, oh my God, I have this many calories that I've burned. It's like, really? Like, really? So anyway, and then we talk about crystals and movement, and of course my clients. So that's the course. And with the course, what was in mind when creating the course was for personal trainers, yoga practitioners, and group fitness instructors. It was primarily for them. But after talking with Kitty during my astrology session, I realized that, you know what? Personal trainers, yoga practitioners, and group fitness instructors are the everyday old Larry and Curly. So anybody can utilize this book, because the whole process of this book is to take the person and have them go through the process of peeling layers of who they are and learning about themselves. Because before I'm able to work with you, I need to go through my own healing journey and figure out what I am about. And that's the same thing with any practitioner. So that's what the book would be useful for, is for them to get to know themselves on a deeper level, so then they can in return start working with the clients the same way. Well, and learn about themselves first. Go ahead.
I think it's really important that they understand what our conversation was about was, okay, I would rather cut off my right arm at times and go than to exercise. And she's telling me about how she works with you to come in, and she was earlier on, we were talking about opening the throat chakra. So she's would like look at the cards, talk about the meridians, talk about where the food what kinds of foods might help my throat chakra, and then she'd give me exercises to do. And as I'm doing them, she'd be talking about the spiritual piece. Feel that, how we always talk about in our meditations, I'm connecting into my body. Where do you feel it? Not only was she talking to me about where I would feel it, but what it would be telling me if I'm doing this kind of exercise. Like, obviously, if I want to work on my root chakra, I'm not going to, in the middle of a meeting, do a squat. just for saying, because, but doing something else, because we were talking about it. And like, could you like give us an example of something like when you're doing your throat chakra? That was real interest,
Yes. When I was
the stuff that's in this book and in this program.
Exactly.
So it is for Larry, Mo, and Curly.
Exactly. So to start off with, when someone is working out, like today, I was sharing earlier that I was doing a shoulder workout, and anything that involves the shoulders is associated with the throat chakra. So it's sitting and connecting with the throat chakra, and also connecting to what the actual shoulders are going to do and what you want them to look like in the process of after the workout. So going through that whole visual first, and then that conversation you're having with yourself before the process of doing the actual workout. So it's almost like you're premeditating what it looks like. And then once you've seen it in your third eye, then you actually get to perform the exercise and shaping the muscle as you're in that process of doing. So again, it's not just going through the motion, it's actually seeing it while you're doing it. And when you're looking in the mirror, you're not looking at you. You're looking at the different version of you, which many of us are not familiar in how to do that. But when you can see yourself in the mirror and start seeing your shoulders start to shape, and the dialogue you're having, where it's no longer about, as I said earlier, the downplaying or the negative talk while you're working out. It's like, wow, my shoulders are really strong, and they're going to help me, and my upper back is very strong and powerful to do my everyday activity. So it's that conversation, again, the throat chakra, and then listening to what the body is saying to you while you're working out, and getting to that understanding that there's this big thing on your how many repetitions need to be done. So it's the set, well, let's do anywhere between 6 to 8 repetitions. But let's say theoretically your body says 4 repetitions is all it needs, and you listen to your body tell you only 4. And that's all you need to do is 4. Even though, and I do it too as a trainer, because we all need that set number. But if you start to listen to your body, you'll get more results from listening to the body say, okay, 4 is all you need. And really pay attention to how it feels, and then how you feel by expressing that workout. And staying connected, and interesting enough, the throat chakra, we all have blue on, is blue, like a turquoise blue color, and visualizing that muscle as that color. So as that muscle's in motion, like literally see that blue color like getting bright and getting lighter in the motion. And it just makes it so much more exciting because you actually can start to see like all this stuff going on. Of course, only you can see it because you're seeing it from your third eye. And that just makes it so much more interesting and also connected to that muscle that you're working, and knowing exactly what is the right amount for you.
To me, this makes so much more sense than me thinking about my grocery bill or looking at the clock saying, when am I going to be done? Because that's usually what I am doing. If I could engage that other level, because I'm always, people always say ground, get into your body, but I don't know how to, if I knew how to do it, I'd already be in my body.
Exactly. And theoretically speaking, when someone is working out and they are like Kitty, where they're thinking about their grocery list and how much more time do I have to be here? They're disconnected with what they're doing. So reality is, why be there at all? And again, the average person is there because they have to be there, because, they either were told you have to go work out because it's good to move your body, but why are you moving your body? And that's something I ask my clients too. Like, why are we doing this today? What is your goal for this workout today? I want 2 words that you're looking to accomplish from this workout today. And then they give me 2 words. And at the end of that workout, I'll ask them, do we accomplish those 2 words? Now, it doesn't matter what I say. It's not about, well, I feel you accomplished it. No, I want to know if you accomplished the 2 words that you shared with me that you wanted to get from this workout. And the truth of it is, I ask them not to use the same 2 words the next workout. They have to dig deep. They have to go into it. What am I looking to get out of this? Why the hell do I want to sit here and work my shoulders? You know, why? What is my benefit of working my shoulders? And then it also gives them that mindset of understanding what their shoulders do for them and how working their shoulders actually helps them, that when they sit in front of a computer, and we've all been doing it for the last 2 years, sitting a lot, that we're not sitting and slouching over because our muscles are too weak to hold us upright. And that's important because that's our posture. And it aligns our chakra system to actually flow because we're not all slouched over, because our shoulders are so strong, they pull back.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how often I get people who look at me when I'm sitting, they're like, do you always sit that tall? And I'm like, well, my shoulders pull me back. So yeah, I'm not going to slouch. I'm not going to sit like this. This hurts, but this feels good. And then that opens me up. And that also helps them too to understand that their shoulders, their traps, those are the muscles that's going to support them and help keep their back strong. So as they get older, they're not slouching over.
Well, and when your back is strong, you feel more powerful and you can use your voice.
Yes.
I think connecting all those is amazing. You know,
I agree.
You could be at something and you could feel, I need to do something to bring my gut, forward. And like I said, that's why I said to her, you got to put this out for, great, market it to those people that like to exercise, but find the kiddies in the world who are going,
yeah,
do I really have to?
Yeah, who are staring at the clock. Like I have one client, and I love her, and she's been working with me for, oh my God, probably 5 or so years. And every word out of her mouth when she's done with the repetition or the set, oh God. I'm like, why are you calling for God? What's going on here? It's like, you don't need to call for God. Focus, use a different word. And I tell her to use her power word, those 2 words, her goals. If you're going to say anything, those are the 2 words you can say. I don't want you calling for God. God knows you're here and he knows you're with me. And you're safe, you're secure because I got you covered. So focus on your 2 words and not, oh God. Because, oh God, again, it's like, it's such a like, oh God. It's like, what the hell? You drag me out of bed at 8 o'clock in the morning. Last thing I want to hear out of your mouth is, oh God. So yeah, it's important, the whole vocabulary, what we say while we're working out, how that can either raise our vibration and bring that chakra up again, or the words can drop the chakra down. And again, it's a process of being mindful in regards to when we work out. And again, it's not just about the sex appeal, it's about how your body feels when you work out, what you are feeling. Does it hurt or does it feel really good? I know when I work out, my workouts feel great. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. This is amazing. I feel good. I feel strong. And I'm focusing on the areas that I feel strong in when I do that workout.
Well, and I think this is just for me, and I'm sure as we look at this awakening of the crone and we look at the age of a lot of the women who are on this page or the women who are coming up, if I could have developed, and I can develop, let me say, when I develop better habits, because I liked to work out, but it wasn't motivating enough to get me to go back to it.
Yes.
But if it's with me all day and I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, this isn't, Joanne, I remember Joanne saying we're in a course together, Spirit Messages. And I remember her saying, I get the best messages when I work out. And honest God, I thought, like hell I would, because I didn't understand what she was doing, I did.
Oh yeah. And again, like I said, everything I create during my workout is when I'm most connected to my mom and other spirit guys, like my other family members decide that they want to pop in too. It gets to the point where, like, when I'm there doing my own workout, and I have the privilege of having my own actual physical space where I don't have to go to a gym and work out with a bunch of other people, thank goodness, because I can't imagine what spirits they would bring in. So it's just all my spirits, coming in and connecting with me. And because I'm so connected and so aligned, and it's quiet because I work out with no music. It's quiet. And my mindset is like, okay, I'm open to anything you need to share with me during this workout. You have 45 minutes to talk. And
Go.
and they do. And there are times when I walk out of the workout, I'm like, okay, I need my pen and paper now, because now I got to take notes of what they just shared, because there's some creativity that's going on here. And every book and every article that I write is all based on information I receive while I work out. And of course, throughout the other parts of my day as well. But that connection. And I mean, that's one of the things I enjoy about my workout. It's like, I'm going to connect with my spirits. I'm going to say, okay, I need a question answered. This is the time for it. Bring it on. You know, and then I remind them, you know, I say to them all the time, because there's many of them. And I say to them, when you do come in, I can only really connect with you one at a time. So please be kind. Speak to me one at a time. So when one is finished, the other one can start to speak to me. Otherwise, it gets a little too overwhelming for me. As I'm trying to work out, it's like, okay, I need to be able to have a little calmness during the workout.
And we haven't even got to, I want to ask people that are on if they have any questions they want to ask her, but we haven't even got to her cards, because I really wanted to do some pulling and reading of her cards.
Definitely.
Joanne has a radio show, she has a television show, and that's what she does mostly. What people see is her reading cards and doing all those things. So Sue or Jennifer, anybody on, if you have a question you would like her to, you know, to ask.
Now, the one thing I want to ask before Kitty goes further, if you have a question, because this is my way of doing, as much as possible, don't ask me the question. Hold the question in your mind. I'll connect with your energy. We'll pull a card. I'll give you the insight. And if, for whatever the reasons are, that card does not answer your question, then you can tell me your question and I'll reshuffle and we'll see what we can get.
Well, I actually really meant questions about your techniques, but if you want to do I'm sure they'd be happy to have a question.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
My technique.
Well, she's told us our technique. Now she's going to demonstrate it.
Yeah, my technique.
And
that
these
is
are
my
her
technique.
These are her cards. These are the cards that her mother ripped the other stuff out of her hand and said, these. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And also, too, want to make a note. They're not tarot cards. You know, I hear it all the time. They're like, oh, is that tarot cards? No, they're not. I do not know how to read tarot cards. Although I've been told I do, but I don't. But anyway, they're not tarot cards. They're, again, 3 elements on a card. The color, a number, affirmation. The color is associated with a chakra. The number provides a hidden message. And the affirmation can be used for one of 2 things or both, which is to raise your vibration as you speak about the affirmation, or it adds to the story to your journey. And this is really how I connect with my clients, by their journey.
And I will put the link. They are available on Amazon.
Yes, that long, long, long link.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question. If you want to pull a card for me, I won't tell you what it is.
Yes, yes. So just hold the question in your mind, Amy. And Amy, if you could just say, and I'm gonna keep this short, but usually I have the person say their name 3 times out loud. That's on your birth certificate. But for the sake of keeping it short, just do your full name out loud 1 time.
Okay, Amy Jane Martin.
And just hold that question in your mind. The cards are like all over the place. Okay, so your card's in reverse. Now, a reverse card means 2 things. A, pay attention to my message, because there's something here you need to hear. And B, you may have a little resistance to what it is I'm going to say. Okay. Now, I want you to apologize ahead of time. And what I'm apologizing for is when I receive message, it's raw. I don't sugarcoat. I give it as I receive it. So if something comes out and it hurts your feelings, my apologies. It's just that I deliver it as I receive. So the card's in reverse, which means, as we said, resistance and also pay attention. The chakra associated is the root chakra. So very important for you to get grounded into your own energy. And I'm just going to jump here for a second. New relationship. Now, when I think about a new relationship, 2 things come to mind. First one is the new relationship you have with you. Now, I think before the show, you were sharing that you were not feeling so well. And that came on So you can develop a new relationship with yourself. A new relationship with yourself, really getting to know who you are, because when we don't feel well, we need to rest. And during our resting time gives us the opportunity to be still and pay attention to the things we're not paying attention when we're too busy. So it's very important for you to get grounded. And as you learn more about you, that new relationship with you, all the relationships externally are going to be really amazing as well, because you're going to start to see new things about the people you know. And you're going to see them in a different way because you're going to be focusing on the positive things about every person. You're not going to be thinking about, oh, this person does this, or this person doesn't do this. You're going to literally zoom in on all the greatness about each person. And that's going to create really healthy, beautiful relationships. The number 2 and 8. The 2 is about your partnership that you have with yourself and your spirit team. It's also about all the other partnerships. The most important relationship, though, is you and spirit. The 8 energy is about the karmic lesson and lessons that you have actually experienced during that time frame when you were not feeling well. There were lots of lessons, and there still are lots of lessons that are unfolding as we speak. But there's definitely a new relationship coming in, a new relationship with you and somebody else. Now, it could be somebody you're already with, and that relationship is going to shift and transition to a different level. But there's definitely something new coming in. Does that resonate with your question?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And that's how the cards work. Gives that insight into breaking it down. And more importantly, that root chakra. Constantly stay focused on your root chakra. Now, I like to give examples to how to do that. And I give several examples. And one of those examples are getting out into nature, which I believe you do, because I watch you on some of your lives, and a lot of your lives seem like you're outside. Mm-hmm. So connecting with nature and doing movement that connect with your root chakra, which would be squats. Now, when I use the word squats, it doesn't have to be this intensified thing. You're sitting in a chair right now. We sit all day. Sit and stand out of your chair. When you go to the bathroom, which it's gonna sound a little personal here. When you go to the bathroom, think about connecting with your root chakra as you sit on the toilet. And activate your feet to the floor and get connected to the earth. And then you get to stimulate your root chakra. And you'll be really surprised. And again, don't know why this is showing up, but by doing that, you'll find yourself being less constipated. Because you're literally connecting and opening up the root chakra, which allows us to be more focused and more in motion. Because when we think about constipation is just about where do we feel stuck in our life? Mm-hmm. Where do you feel stuck in your relationships? And of course, I had to use constipation because I'm talking about bathroom, and that's what I heard. It's like, where is this coming from? Why?
Hey, messages come the way they come.
Yeah. Exactly. I never question it. I just, I want to bring some clarity to like, why the hell are we talking about constipation and the toilet? but yes, so it is.
Hey, we started with pink underwear, and that's a good segue to Sue. Sue would, if you don't mind.
Thank you. That did really resonate with me.
So Sue said she has a question in mind.
Okay, great, Sue. And Sue, again, just repeat your full name on your birth certificate out loud one time.
Joanne Marie Sundin.
Beautiful. All right, Sue, for you, also in reverse. In reverse. I'll have to check out my cards to make sure that I'm all in reverse. I'm only kidding. Root chakra, so again, also getting grounded. However, your message is a little different. Yours is about a karmic completion. You've completed a karmic cycle. You've completed a karmic cycle. In this year, you probably recently had a birthday, which is why you've completed the karmic cycle, because that's usually how it works. A birthday comes on, a cycle ends. Which means because you've completed a karmic cycle, a new one is about to start. That's that one energy. So in this energy of being rooted and grounded, focusing on, I like to say, focus on
what you've learned from your karmic lessons and be grateful for those karmic lessons, because those karmic lessons are actually helping you get to where you have to go in this lifetime. And I also want to bring to your attention, which I'm hearing, this is also about a karmic lesson that you were not able to complete in a past life. So you've actually completed a karmic lesson from a past life, which is really important to know, because sometimes we come to Earth and some of our lessons are just really challenging, and we're like, I can't do that this time around. Can I come back and do it another time? And you've completed one of those cycles from a past life. So I'm hoping you feel lighter since this past year of some of the things you've let go of, literally, physically let go of, where you might have decluttered stuff in your home, you might have let go of friends that no longer serve you, because that's a karmic cycle. Does that resonate with your question?
No,
Okay.
but it's great work, great information.
All right, so what I would like to do for you is repeat, say your question out loud for me.
Joanne,
I
your audio is going in and out. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that, whether you
Oh, I
turn
don't
it
know.
on or off.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that better?
A little bit, but I think it's just, if you're on your phone, it might just be your phone pairs and doesn't pair, so, okay.
Yes.
All right, sorry.
That's all right. The question was, I was intrigued with this Jupiter going into retrograde, because I have really had a lot of trouble trying to shed the pounds this year. And I know that I called in the way to protect myself from abusive men, molesters, and assaults. I've known that for a long time, but that's where I did well getting rid of it. Now I want to get rid of it again, some more.
Okay, so now I want to bring something to your attention, because from my point of view, that card that showed up for you did answer your question, because you let go of a karmic lesson. You let
Okay.
go of a karmic lesson, which is the weight that you've been carrying from Jupiter's weight of the assault and whatever else you experience. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, because I'm looking for what else I need to do to be able to, are there any other barriers, any other blocks, any other stuff that I don't know that I don't know?
In reference to releasing the weight?
Yeah.
Okay, here's intuitive and logical. Wait till this year is actually over, or better yet, wait till Jupiter goes direct, which is only another give and take a week.
18th.
Yeah.
18th, okay.
Once Jupiter goes direct, I would give it about 30 to 60 days, and then you should start to notice your body weight trimming down. The expansion.
I've been expanding.
Yeah, will deflate. But you also got to be really mindful of the food you've been calling in. And again, that balance between feeding and fueling, do a little more fueling and less feeding. And that will help as well.
Okay.
That will definitely.
All right.
Good deal.
And we have Jennifer and
Taya.
Taya.
Jennifer and Taya.
We only have 10 minutes, so.
Thank you, Joanne.
You're welcome. Who would like to go next?
He's going first. Okay. No, I don't really have a question. I find it very interesting though, but no question.
Okay. So Jennifer, you're going then.
Okay, I've got a question. Jennifer Louise Warren.
Okay. All my cards are in reverse, I swear it. This one's about the heart center. Heart center. So when we think about the heart center, it's green. So it's about healing the heaviness that sits in the heart. But the affirmation is to surrender. You have to surrender something that you've been carrying with you on an emotional level, such as maybe the anger or frustration that you might have either towards yourself or another party. And once you do, you'll start to feel a lot lighter in your heart center or whatever this might be. The number is 6 and 8 though. So the 6 is all about how this will help you to heal. And the 8, again, as we spoke on before, with Zeus, this is about a karmic lesson. a karmic lesson. So whatever it is, whatever friction, because that's the word I'm hearing, friction you may have towards another person. And when I speak of another person, it may not necessarily be about another person. That other person could be you, your inner child, that you might have experienced some sort of discernment or anger towards your inner child that you've been carrying. Whatever it might be related to, that's that 8 energy of the karmic lesson. Works out to be a 5, so there's definitely got to be some change that takes place, and you definitely need to surrender something. Surrender the feeling, surrender the need to hold on to this grudge is what I just heard loud and clear. Does that resonate with you?
Perfectly, thank you.
Thank you.
So that's so funny because my from the work we're doing with the new moon, that's the word I'm writing. This is a surrender. As I come to an understanding, it's a surrender. So thanks, Jennifer. I needed that boost too.
Okay.
So
Yes.
it's 8:52, Joanne. This is absolutely fascinating to me. Can you give them like where they can find you? And obviously they can get a hold. And you know, this new course that's coming, I'm really excited about, because honestly, if you can give me exercises to do that help me with different chakras and align, I will do them versus, you know.
Definitely. Well, the best way to reach me, it's very simple, to my email, and that's healingwithin76@gmail.com. Best way.
Okay.
And in reference to all the material I have, my cards, Amazon, you can find them. They have a really long name, and I'm sure Kitty will write that name in the passage somewhere. And in reference to the workbook, that will be on Amazon, but it's not on Amazon yet because it's still in the process of being reviewed, so to speak. And my Healing with Numbers is also on Amazon.
Okay. Would you say your email again so I make sure I wrote it correctly?
Sure. healingwithin76@gmail.com.
Okay. All right. I had it correctly. It's absolutely fascinating, Joanne, and you know, talking to you has been amazing. Especially, Joanne does a lot with the planets as it is and horoscopes, so we could actually go on for a really long time.
Yes.
And like forget it that everybody else is listening. Is there any last few words? We got 7 minutes or questions that anybody might want to ask her.
I just want to say that I absolutely love the way Joanne just weaves in and out, going with these numbers nonstop, 90 miles an hour. So much information that you know, it's just wonderful, and I really just love just listening to you rattle on about numbers. So you know,
Thank you.
well done, and I love that deck.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Who would ever know that I would be rattling on about numbers?
Yeah, it's a beautiful deck, and it's
very simple and really neat.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very neat. It's very neat.
Thank you.
And so many messages in just one single card. It's
Yes.
like it's you know, you're getting like multiple messages and readings from the one card, and I liked that too. That was really
And Joanne, you do a weekly reading. Why don't you tell them where they can find that?
Oh, yes, definitely. In fact, they can actually join me in a little while because that's where I'll be going. Tonight, so just tonight, the group is called Expand Your Intuition. And the card spread gets displayed on Wednesday, at some point, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, whenever I feel the need to get it going. And then it's available on that site. They can choose one of the cards. There's usually 3 cards to choose from. Sometimes we'll get 4. And then in the evening, such as tonight, I'm going to go live and share insight, inspiration, and intuition with each card. And I encourage those who do pull a card to write their card number in the comments. So this way here, I know who chose what card. So when I'm reading the card, I can actually connect with that person's energy, and they will actually feel as though I'm speaking to them by doing that.
So that's called Expand Your Intuition. That one I know. She's also on Strong Island TV on the first Wednesday. She does a show, and on Sundays you have a show also. And
Yes, I'm gonna make a correction.
Okay.
The first Wednesday I have my radio show, which is
That's your
Joanne's
radio
Energy.
show.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on every Sunday, I have my TV show, which is Joanne's Healing Within. Both shows are at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I try to keep it simple. And they can be seen on Facebook Live. And then thereafter, the TV show is available on Roku and YouTube. And the radio show is available on every possible platform that radio is available on.
So, yes. She started to rattle them off and she goes, it might be easier if you can find out the ones it's not, kind of.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's Joanne's out there and her cards are amazing. And like I said, you can get them on Amazon. And I know I'm going to end up buying the numbers book because it's very fascinating. She's so fast with it.
Yeah.
See
you in the numbers book? I'm shocked.
Yeah,
What was that?
Do the cards come with an explanation of the numbers, or do we need the book?
Let me show you something. The cards, a unique little piece.
Okay.
And in the book, it gives an explanation to what all the numbers mean from 1 to 9, 11, 22, and 33. It will actually give the break. I think 11, 22, and 33. No, I'm a liar. 1 to 9, sorry. You would think I wrote the book. It gives the definitions to the actual chakras. It gives 1 or 2 words. So when the person is working with the cards, they'll have some theme words to use. But then over time, they get to use their own intuition, which is what I really recommend anyway. And it also gives, for every affirmation the cards have, it gives an actual definition for the affirmation. But again, as they practice, I ask them just to use their own intuition over time. In preparing, which I think would make sense, in preparing my deck and having to write out an affirmation for 45 cards, I found it extremely interesting that out of 45 cards, I only repeated 1 affirmation. That when I was preparing to send it over to the woman who created my cards, I was going through the listing and she emailed me and she goes, "You're going to have to give me 1 other affirmation." I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "Well, because you repeated 1 affirmation twice." I'm like,
just out of curiosity, which one was it?
The affirmation itself?
Yeah. Do you remember?
I don't even remember, but I do remember the affirmation I replaced it with, which was Old Soul.
Old Soul. Okay.
Old Soul. I don't remember the affirmation. I would have to actually go back to my notes because I do have it in a notebook.
I was just curious because usually it means there's a focus there that,
Oh yeah, I'm sure there was. I mean, the cards are, it's so funny. The cards are 3 years old already. Imagine 3 years old my cards are. My God. This January, actually this March, they'll be 3 years old coming up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Joanne, we just want to say thank you so much. And of course, we'll be in touch. And you can find Joanne also here on Intuition Soul. I often share her broadcasts and things so that you can see her. But we so welcome you. Thanks for coming in this wild energy of this particular week.
This is great energy for this stuff.
Oh yeah, this was well. It was funny because I said, okay, I want you on this week. Remember, I said between Pluto going direct and Saturn, and it's like this is your week. So
yeah, and this is a perfect timing. Pluto's all about the transformation, and Saturn's about the structure, and our body is a part of the structure.
Well, and it's on the portal, like you said, of 2. So it's a new beginning, but it's the partnership even with ourselves. So
yeah,
there we go.
Most important
in Libra. Yeah, in Libra, the balance. So
yes.
Anyway, so thank you so much. We really
thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for Intuition of the Soul, thank you, folks. If you're watching this on replay, please make sure you comment. And
and Kitty will make sure she puts in all those links for anybody who's interested. And do it soon because I want some cards. No.
Okay. All right. Take care, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.